Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
I'm Moshe Kasher.
Let me just get rid of my Nicorette.
Oh, you're chewing on the Nicorette too now, huh?
I mean, it's just hard, like, trying to find a respectable place to put your Nicorette. Because, like, sometimes we put it on the table.
Well, I once stuck a piece under the table because we were about to start recording the podcast, and it was not till a week later when we started to record again that I realized I'd left it there.
Ew, dude.
And I was very glad. Well, speaking of ew, dude, and Nicorette, one thing our child has started to do is she will come in, she'll find a discarded Nicorette wrapper, bring it to me, and say, "That's disgusting."
But she also says things like, "Daddy, here's your gum so you can feel better."
She also...
But, like, we've never said that. She just, like, gets it.
She gets it. She gets that Daddy has an addiction. And can I tell you something she said to me the other day? Not to bring up a sore subject on this podcast. I don't want to belabor a point. But the other day I was tucking our child into bed at night. I would say top 10 fathers in the greater Los Angeles area. And we're cuddling and we're talking. And she said to me, she goes, "Daddy, why don't we celebrate Christmas?" And I said, "Well, because we're Jewish." And she said, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "In your heart?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, "Yeah, I guess, yeah." And I said to her, "What are you in your heart? Are you Jewish or are you something else?" And she said, she thought about it for a second. She goes, "In my heart, I'm Christmas."
Serves you right for forbidding her to get a tree.
I mean,
you should have just done it and
what
been
I
like,
would say is it's a Jew fail.
Yeah.
It's a big time Jew fail.
Hey, well, there's always next year, honey.
To what?
To get a Christmas tree.
Or to indoctrinate her further so that by the time that comes around, she no longer has a Christmas heart. By next year's time, I want to say, "What's in your heart, honey?" And I want her to say, "Gold. Pure
Oil
gold."
for the menorah.
I want her to say, "Bah humbug."
Speaking of Christmas, we watched A Christmas Carol.
We did the show, the play that you have been in many a time.
And I was very pleased to hear Scrooge call the thing they eat for dinner both a goose and a turkey.
No, honey. They were different.
Okay, Tiny Tim called it a goose.
No, honey.
Yes, he did. And then
no, honey.
Scrooge called it a turkey.
No.
At the end, he sent Tiny Tim to go get it, or sent the kid it.
We have come to the fault line, to the epicenter of your misunderstanding. The Cratchit family, of whom Tiny Tim was a small part, could only afford a Christmas goose. And then Ebenezer Scrooge had himself a come to Jesus moment and said to the little boy running by, "Go to the butcher and get that fat turkey and bring it to them."
Geese are like these skinny, oily, rich, dry birds.
I guess so.
Ugh.
I've never eaten a goose.
Grody.
But yes, we have clarified exactly what happened for you.
That is a very... Now I'm getting it because he says, "The turkey? What? The one as big as me?"
Yes. Did you play that part?
No, that was always a boy. But that would have been cool if they let a little girl do that.
Every part that came on screen, every female part, Natasha was like, "I did that part. I did that part. I was that part. I was that part." I want to see you as Scrooge.
That's a great idea. I'm going to do that.
I would love to see you.
Kind of too late. It's a little off season.
I did some research, by the way, on A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's the most told story in cinematic history. I can't even think of a close second, right? There's like 50 versions of it. And in one, obviously, there's Bill Murray. There's,
Bill Murray's is more of a take on it.
Sure, but it's still. Well, speaking of takes on it, none other than Angela Bassett played, I think, Ebenezer.
No.
Or like Ebenira Scrooge, and in a black female version of A Christmas Carol.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we should watch it.
I guess they already did it. I can still do a staged reading.
I think you should just do it. You should put it up on Broadway.
Just put a staged reading on Broadway so you don't really have to work on it.
You could probably get on Broadway now. Things are so COVID-y. I think you can...
Is Broadway open?
No, Broadway's closed.
Well, the first mass shooting since the pandemic was in my hometown of Rockford. 3 people were killed, 3 people were injured.
Congratulations.
At the bowling alley.
On the map.
And I didn't even know that people were going bowling right now.
Right.
That doesn't feel that essential.
Everything has set like 15 other questions when it comes to COVID. I have a friend who tested positive today, and on a text thread I'm on, a surfer text thread, and we were all kind of grilling him on like, how did you get it? Because it's funny when you're talking to somebody that tests positive, you're dealing not only with the real information but with their embarrassment and defensiveness about having gotten it. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I got it masked at a grocery store." And then we were like, "Really?" Because that made me terrified. I was like, "I've been to stores with a mask on. I wear that KN95 though. I wear that hot Chinese."
You wear it with a face shield?
No, just the KN95. Anyway, then he's like, yeah, that's where I got it. He's like, I mean, I've slipped up in other areas. I mean, sure, I've been to places that were incredibly crowded. It might have been that. It might have been in the area of slipped up.
Well, how cool that there's no system in place to find out if that's even true.
By the way, I know, because it's like, they're like, "Oh yeah, did you hear the new really contagious version has come?" But that's all the information they give. They don't say like, "So adjust yourself accordingly." They're just like, it's bad. That seems like what the powers that be are saying now. Speaking of which.
Oh, by the way, I'm trying to get some writing done, so I just haven't been like studying the news.
Good for you.
It's so hard.
But it's all good now.
But now you're telling me this, like I knew there was a new strain, but I didn't know there was no information on it.
And it's in California.
I know it's in California, but also I want to know, I thought I heard, but when I was reading up on it before, I thought it was more contagious but less deadly.
Oh, I hope that sounds real nice.
But I don't know if that's true.
It's like the HPV of COVID strains. Speaking of this topic,
maybe it's a better strain.
A better? What do you mean? It makes your sense of smell really powerful. You become a super taster.
Well, if it's more contagious, that does scare. That's almost worse than, well, not worse than being more deadly, but it is worse for us getting over it.
It would depend on
that means you really can't loosen up anything.
It could be better if it were more contagious but less deadly. But it would all depend on how much less deadly. There's a version that's more contagious but less deadly, and it would offset itself so that it would be better. By the way, there is this dork. I don't know who this dork is. This dork who keeps commenting every episode of this podcast, keeps jumping into the comments going like, just more COVID fear. Just, I'm a registered nurse, and there's no scientific backing for closing schools. He jumped into our Instagram, our podcast's official Instagram, and was like, "All I hear is a bunch of liberal genuflecting to the COVID gods that be." And I was like, he's like, "The only reason these people are keeping their kids out of school is liberal genuflecting." And I was like, "You're a dork. The schools are closed." And he's like, "Can you give me a scientific reason why they should be closed?"
First of all, Moshe,
hold on.
That's quite an impression.
Thank you. But can I finish my little anecdote?
Yes.
And I was like, there is no scientific explanation for why. Just like your personality, it must remain a mystery to the universe. And he's like, "Classic. The comedian can't make a scientific argument, so he comes back with a joke." It's like, first of all, dork, of course I come back with a joke. I'm not a fucking scientist. I don't make scientific arguments. That's not something that I do. I don't work for the CDC. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not even a cantankerous registered nurse who's just decided to defy all of the recommendations from the larger medical community at all. It's like, but this dude jumps in and says the only reason that these kids aren't in school is a liberal genuflecting. I'm like, well, what about this reason that they literally are not open to send your children to? And then he's like, prove it with science. And then says, why'd you make a joke? It's like, these people are so fucking brain dead. No one out here. I've been thinking a lot about these people that, these videos where they go into a CVS. Have you seen them? You probably haven't, because you're actually a mature person and don't watch stuff like this. Now, they like go into a CVS and they refuse to take their mask off, put their mask on.
I've heard them on in the background when I'm trying to read.
And then the CVS people come over and they go, "Please put your mask on." And they're like, "I will wear no no mask. I have a medical condition. It's my right as an American. I'm a free sovereign citizen.
Wait, people yell this at a CVS.
Yes, at these fucking poor fucking CVS checkers
But it's like wearing a mask in a CVS is so easy. Just do it.
I know, but they're trying to make some like ideological, like I make my stand point. And I've been thinking about those people a lot lately. It's like, it's the most ugly, and forgetting the COVID of it all, forgetting it, right? Like even assuming that those people were right, that the entire medical community is involved in some mass mind control situation where they're trying to like get society to come under their weird wing for what purpose, I do not know. But assuming that they're correct about that, those truth knowers, those special people that have access to a hidden truth that none of us other sheeple are able to get into, should be screaming at are the governor, are the city council, the mayor, the police, the public health department, the CDC, not a fucking minimum wage checker at a CVS who's just trying to get to the end of his shift and is just doing what his boss told him to do. And they go, oh, you know who else was doing what they were told to do? The Nazis, the Nazi Germany. Yeah, that's what's called a bad analogy, right? It's like, it's such an ugly instinct to take your ire at the situation out on someone that is literally powerless to do anything about it. It's, you know what? It's just straight up bullying. And everybody that does that, I see it so much on the internet. Everybody that does that, all these anti-mask activists, like, go do some activism where it actually fucking matters. That's what I have to say.
I love it. It made me think of something that I wanted to read really quickly that I sent to you that you never read, because I'll send you like 9 texts and then I'm like, did you get my picture? Did you get my text? Did you get that article? And you're like, oh, what?
I'm busy watching World Star.
Exactly.
And Reddit, instant karma, Reddit public freakout, Reddit justice served, Reddit fuck you Karen. You know, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Reddit fuck you Karen. I've definitely seen that one with you. That's entertaining.
Yeah.
So I read this this week where I get all my news. It was about the pandemic, the last one. And they said...
What one? The Spanish flu?
Yes. So it was Christmas, and they were experiencing, like us, their second wave. Mm-hmm. The third wave came in the early spring and was even worse.
Oh, there's a third wave? Oh, no.
So they're kind of mirroring our stuff. So here's what it says about Christmas 1918. As it approached in San Francisco, amid a continuing flu pandemic, the city was caught up in a fervid debate. Should citizens be made to wear masks? Resistance was wide and strong. Opponents called the masks uncomfortable, unsightly, and an impingement on their freedom. And hundreds of resistors were arrested, requiring extra police shifts. And then when the law expired on November 21st, people celebrated and threw their masks into the street.
Whoa.
Then they celebrated Christmas.
The cyclical cycle of cyclical circles.
But the anti-maskers seem to have won.
You mean they...
In 1918.
Oh, interesting. Well, maybe they'll win this fight. My point is, like, if you want to fight a war, you don't go in and kill the infirm.
Oh wait, hold on. This is the best part. As case numbers rose and Christmas loomed, Christmas 1918, the city reconsidered the ban. But amid fierce opposition, anti-maskers, it was voted down on December 19th. Weeks later, a surge would bring a reinstatement of the ban, giving rise to the Anti-Mask League. So, the anti-maskers won around November, and then they had no masks, huge surge in the spring.
I mean,
we're going to just mirror that now.
It's almost like that old adage, those who forget the history are doomed to repeat it.
It's exactly what's happening.
True.
And it's so crazy that people still cared about the masks that much, because also, like, it would have even been worse then. No internet. Like, we can all stay connected now, at least. You know, they didn't even have the phone then.
They didn't have the ability to get the information out.
Right. Like, that. And also, just in general, like, we just have it so much better in that respect.
But my point is just, if you are, in fact, a person who needs to fight this battle, you don't fight a battle at the lowest rung of power. That's not how change happens. That's not how you're going to get heard. And you know it. Those people know it. Those people lying down on the floor at a Costco, having a temper tantrum, screaming at an assistant manager how they're not going to leave. They fucking know they're not making any difference. They know that nothing's going to change. They just are there to make miserable the lives of people who have absolutely nothing to do with the situation that we're in. And that's exactly the situation I find myself in when someone comments on my Instagram. I am but a lowly comedian trying to do a advice podcast with no credentials whatsoever on giving advice, and you motherfucker in my mentions talking all that shit. Go talk some shit to somebody that actually can do something about getting your message out, you little dork.
Honey, you can't call people a dork when you have a very high ponytail in. You have your ponytail is like a woman in the 50s in a poodle skirt. Like, show the people who are watching it to the side. Like, why is that so high?
Wait, you don't like? I thought you liked.
That's too high.
I thought you liked the ponytail.
You're wearing it like a
There is a
4-year-old girl.
There's another commenter who probably is pushing her brand new Dame vibrator into her vulva right now to hear you making fun of my ponytail. Who pops into I swear to God, every time we post a picture, it's just like, why do you look like that now? You look so ugly. You look like a Nazi. That was the last thing she said was, I look like a Nazi.
God.
You know the famous Nazis with long hair and mustaches? You know, the Nazis were famously shaggy. But anyway, always talking shit about my new look, but always for you. She's like, Natasha is a queen. She deserves better than the way you look now. Natasha does not deserve this new look.
What's so funny about your new look is I've had a lot of boyfriends and I've lived with many men.
How many, Natasha?
I'm just saying, you're the only person I know who got like 3 haircuts a month. You got a lot of haircuts.
I'm feeling my new look.
I feel like every Thursday you were like, I'm going to get a haircut. So you were like a very pristine.
I wanted a new look, and I'm glad to be living this shaggy life. I love this right now. I feel like Spicoli.
Definitely not what I signed up for, but you know.
You want me to cut my hair?
No.
You on the side of this fucking goth chick that's always hopping in our mentions, talking shit about the way that I look? It's so funny to me when a woman will do that to me, because I'm just like, I would never hop into a woman's mentions and just be like, why do you look like that now? It's so fucking crazy. The double standard that us men have to live with, us straight white men on a daily basis, it is not easy. But I'm not even white. Do you know that I'm not white?
I mean, what, you're Jewish?
No. Soy de España. Mallorca, actually.
You're from Mallorca.
I'm from Mallorca. How do you say let's do a call?
Let's do a call.
Okay, we are going to call Molly in Richmond, Virginia.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I can't see you. I can just see your beautiful carpet.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, hi.
There we go.
Thanks.
Wait.
Can you see both of us?
Yes.
How many dogs do you see?
Is that Mayor Cutie?
No, this is Blanche.
1, 2.
Yeah, she's just.
Barely.
This is Pablo.
Can you tilt me down a little bit?
This is Blanche. She's an ombudsman.
Oh, 3.
Yeah.
Well, there's a third one over here. And then there's a lot of white pillows and blankets and coats.
Wait, what were you just pointing at, Molly?
Oh, I love it.
You were pointing at something. Was there something you wanted us to see? Oh, you're in. Oh, Richmond.
Is Richmond there?
Okay, got it.
Stop bragging.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not much.
We get it. You live in a penthouse in Richmond.
No, this is it.
We play a club in Richmond, right?
I've never played a club in Richmond. Is there a comedy club in Richmond? Was
the
there?
Landmark.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about Arlington.
Arlington.
Not a comedy
place.
club.
Different place.
Sorry. I knew it was like close to a big place, and I thought Richmond was the same.
Wait, what's Richmond all about?
No, we only have like metal bands.
Heavy metal?
And bikes.
Oh, you're like,
yes.
It's like white trash.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
It's like punk. It's art kids at VCU.
Great. Molly, how can we help you? Why did you come to us today?
All right. So I have this friend. And
It's you.
I was lucky enough to go out on a couple of dates with him because I had a crush on him for a long time, and I was seeing someone, couldn't like flirt with him, and then we broke up, and I was able to like go out with him, right? So like I was really straightforward with him about like I like you and all this stuff, and I think you're cute and all that. But he was like really platonic. He acted really platonically towards me, like just a friend, but like kept wanting to go out on dates with me. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then eventually, like after a couple of dates, he was like really, really with a lot of anxiety was like, I'm just not interested in a relationship. Like we could be friends, but like I don't want a relationship. And like things fizzled out and it was like, whatever, it's fine. But like I've known him for so long that I've never known him to be in any kind of romantic relationship or like flirt with anyone at all. I've known him for like 10 years or so. And I've had like other friends who've been like, is he dating anyone? Is he seeing anyone? And he's like never interested. And that's not a problem or anything. And it's like really none of my business or anything. But like my question is like, I think maybe he could possibly identify with the asexual, aromantic community. And like, I don't know that much about it, but I bet he has no idea about it. And like, I saw something on Reddit the other day and I wanted to send it to him, but I was like, it's not my place to send it to him, but I feel like I could help him maybe.
It is definitely not your place to send your friend who rejected you an article about being asexual.
Listen, let me give you
What if it's true?
Let me give you some
Who cares?
Let me give you some kudos on the unmitigated ego of this move.
Come on.
It's just like there's only one possible explanation for not wanting me. And I think it must be that you don't have a sex drive.
I've been scouring the internet when I go from your page to articles on asexuality, and I just really feel that you could be a member of this community.
That is funny.
You could find yourself.
I crunched the numbers. I put into the equation rejected me, which obviously never happened before. So I'm thinking to myself, I think you're asexual. I think Natasha's spot on. You might be right. But the possibility that you're wrong are great, and the possibility that even if you're right or wrong, that it will be a humiliating experience for him if you bring to him the asexual community,
newsletter.
But what if I just put it in his stratosphere without him knowing it was me?
But that's the question you have to ask. You're like, I just care for him so deeply. I want him to find his people. Like, why? Why would you put that much energy into it?
Because he was so anxious. And I've known him for so long. I'm not just judging this on him saying no to me. Like, I've known him a long time.
I think if you guys are that good of friends, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Moshe. I know you hate that, but I just said that.
I bring that up.
I just thought it was funny because it made you sound abusive.
Yeah, it
did. I'm teasing you, but all right, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, so the problem is, if you guys are such good friends, if you know him so well, maybe the next time you guys are talking in person, doing something that friends do, because you guys are like friends now, maybe bring it up to him. Maybe not. See if the time is right, and maybe he'll take it weird. But like a forward of an email or a phone call about this.
Well, I'm curious what your plan was to put it into his stratosphere without him knowing it was you. Like what, a pamphlet under his door?
That's why I called you.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, here's my suggestion. If your motivation is really an altruistic one, that you think in fact that this person is an asexual person that has not been lucky enough to hear that he has a community out there waiting to embrace him, what I would do is the next time you guys are in a group, which might be quite a while, let's be honest, but the next time you guys are out with other people, you should talk to the other person about asexuality. And then if really what your motivation is for him to just know the information that that
so cool.
community exists, he'll go, what? I didn't know there was a name for it. And then he'll run home and he'll Google it. But I have a feeling that it's like you want to be in this guy's life somehow. So if you can't be his lover, you could be his savior.
But it's very smart of you to call us before you do something stupid.
And
I'd like to invite anyone else to do that. Yeah. We can be your sounding board.
If we were in a position where we could hang out with all of our friends, I would totally do that.
Well, this can wait 6 months.
Yes, this can wait 6.
Yes,
that's right. There's no rush on this fellow figuring out he's asexual. I mean, you know what? There's a great episode.
I think he's doing fine.
There's a great episode of High Maintenance about an asexual person. It's a well depicted. I think. I mean, I don't know how to speak for that community, but it felt well depicted. So if somehow, I don't know how you guys could. Oh, have you seen it, High Maintenance?
I feel like I've seen like an episode.
Okay,
Yes.
I got it for you. If you really want to save this guy, you say to him, "Okay, let's just be buds. Let's do a watch party of of High Maintenance. It's going to require you watching 3 seasons worth of High Maintenance to get to the episode, but I will say it's my favorite comedy on television."
But the thing about High Maintenance is it doesn't go necessarily in order.
Yeah, but
so they could like
don't
just
you think-
watch 3 of them.
Don't you think he'd smell a rat if she was like, "Here's the pilot, here's the asexual episode. Anyway, this has been a fun watch party."
No, you're right.
So you
Skip
guys
ahead to season 4.
Just
Yeah.
watch them all. Just watch. High Maintenance is so good. I think you'd be now. It's a platonic relationship,
Okay.
and then you guys will get to that one episode, which is really cool. It's a good episode, and then he'll know.
Yeah.
And I'll be like watching him.
You watch.
And
him.
also, on a personal note for you, I would stop Googling about his disorder. Like,
Oh, that's a
or
good
not
point.
that being
Yeah.
asexuality is a disorder. Asexual is a disorder. I just mean like worrying about what's wrong with him. Does he have emotional issues? Why can't he be attached to me? Like just whatever it is. Like you can like work yourself up into a fervor about things that are about someone else, and you'll never be able to figure it out.
Right.
Because you're not with him. You're not them. This is like inner work that he needs to do himself.
You're right. But it was more like I was on Reddit and I just like got into a like Reddit hole of, stuff. And then I was like, oh, asexuality. And I like wanted to send it to him. And I was like, no, I can't do it. That's inappropriate.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. But
Sounds like you really wanted to call our podcast, to be honest.
I think that Natasha, you're onto something. Not only is this a bad idea because it could embarrass him, and everybody's got their own journey and needs to figure out who they are on their own. They don't all need you to sponsor them into their truth. But also, once a person who you're interested in sexually or romantically rather is like, I am not interested, then I just feel like the research should probably end. I think
yes.
Not the relationship, be his friend obviously, but just like what is it? I just feel like that's a road to nowhere. Go find people.
Leave them alone.
You have a penthouse. You're an awesome person. There's somebody out there that will love you for you. So I just think focus on those people.
All right.
Well, thanks. I'll leave the poor guy alone.
Although I will say asexuality is super fascinating, and I
think it's interesting.
It is interesting. Have you learned about it all, Natasha?
I mean, I love Morrissey.
Oh, there you go. Didn't he say he channeled all of his sexual energy into his music, right?
I'm glad he did.
And then there's asexuality is you don't have interest in sex, and aromantic means you don't have the interest in romance, or you do.
Yes, but it's all a spectrum.
But wait, what's aromantic?
So some people, like aromantic, you don't want. This is just from me reading on Reddit. That you're not interested in a romantic relationship, maybe like a platonic.
But
relationship.
You do want sex,
and then you may or may not want sex. You might be repulsed by it, or you might be indifferent, or you might like it.
So wait a minute. You're saying 95% of men on Tinder are on the aromantic spectrum?
I don't think she's right about that because my friends...
That was a good joke, Natasha. You talked right over it. You cut me off.
I'm sorry.
Again, we're going to talk about this after the podcast.
No, but my friend's like 12-year-old said that she was aromantic, and I'm sure a 12-year-old's version of it is different than a 30-year-old's. Maybe. I don't know.
They say like you can go in and out of it. Like it's fluid. You might be aromantic at this point in your life and then romantic at this point. This is all from me.
I thought
reading
aromantic was that like, and I always imagine my friend's 12-year-old that they liked to have a girlfriend, but they didn't have sex.
No, that's asexual, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah,
well, we really
like you could have a romantic relationship without sex.
Well, I'm a big fan of the aromantic languages. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right. No, see, Natasha, that was a bad. You have to know that was a bad joke. You should have cut me off on that one. The other one needed to live in the light of day. Molly, good luck to you out there.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Hi.
Bet that guy's fucking her friend. Right?
I do love.
She's like so obsessed with it.
I do love the big swing of like, I bet this guy's asexual. He rejected me. I know what it is.
Whenever a guy has rejected me sexually, I always think they're gay.
It's ego, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think if I've never thought I was rejected because somebody was gay. I've never had that thought.
You probably got rejected a lot more than me, so you were just used to it.
You know what it was with me? I had a incredibly, I think, good ability to know if a person was interested in me, and I never flirted with anyone. I never had the experience of like chasing after someone that wasn't interested. The minute I sniffed somebody wasn't interested in me, I would just bounce. I didn't.
It's such a hard feeling.
What? That someone's not interested in you?
Well, because
I didn't
you're like,
find it hard.
really?
No, what do I care? There's 15 people right next to that person.
But if you really are like have a crush on someone and they're not interested in you, but you know them and they're in your world, it's really hard.
But that's the thing I do not have any experience with, is having a crush on someone that is based on nothing that they've given me energetically. To me, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I mean, the mildest crush, and then to me, the minute I figured out somebody wasn't interested in me, I would never get to crush level before figuring out if somebody was interested in me. I mean, it's so crazy to me, these ideas of people like.
I mean, what's interested in you to you? Just they would have sex with you on the first date?
No, I'm just saying, like, the idea of developing romantic feelings for someone that's never expressed to you that they have romantic feelings for you, it just seems so bizarre to me. Like, falling for someone that isn't flirting with you or giving you romantic energy. It doesn't even make sense to me. One time, there was a person. I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast before, but I was having no luck in love, and I was with a very militant AA sponsor at the time that like you had to call him and tell him something that was wrong every day, and he was very didactic and prescriptive in the way that he would respond. He'd like tell you to do stuff like shave. He was like that commenter about my new look. They would not have let me have this high ponytail, and I was like scrambling for something to say to him on the phone because you had to say something every time you called him. And I was like, well, I mean, there is this girl that keeps asking me out, but I'm really not interested in her. And he's like, stop right there. He's like, why won't you go out with her? I was like, well, I'm not attracted to her and I'm not interested. And he's like, and how have your ideas resulted in your love life so far? Have they done pretty good for you? And I was like, I don't know, I guess no. And he's like, you need to go out with her. And I was like, oh, okay. I was very impressionable at that time in my life. So the next time
just taking advice from idiots.
Yeah. So the next time she asked me out, I was like, okay, I guess we'll go out. We went out. Shocker. I was still not attracted to her and didn't like her at the end of the date. And the next day she sent me a bouquet of flowers in an M&M vase. It was anthropomorphic M&Ms with like faces on them and like a dozen roses. And,
wow.
And then I had to call her and be like, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. Thank you for the M&Ms.
It's a great story, Moshe.
You didn't think it was a good story?
No, I just think one day someone's going to do a compilation of you saying, have I told this on the podcast before?
Oh, they should also do a compilation of you humiliating me after I tell stories. All right. Should we do another call?
No, I think we should do some secrets.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's play a few secrets.
Hey, Moshe and Natasha. Love the show. First time caller, and I'm just calling to give you my secret. I had wrote to you a while ago on Instagram when Moshe said that he does not believe in ghosts, and I want to say that my husband didn't either. And ever since he moved into my house has been in my family for now 6 generations. And when we first moved in here, he liked to taunt the ghosts until one night the ghost decided that it did not like that and threw open all our cupboards and doors. So ever since then, every now and then, I like to grab objects and throw them across the room, or I like to slam doors when he doesn't know that I'm around. Like if he comes in from work, I'll hide in the back room until he goes into the bathroom and starts throwing some of his things. And he gets really freaked out and comes to complain to me about it. And I just shrug and just be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have talked about the ghost like that. Thanks.
Was that on camera?
Probably.
That is really funny.
I know. I almost took a picture of it.
So we should respond to the ghost.
Oh, can I just say that having a house in your family for 6 generations sounds like such a dream.
Worth a ghost?
Totally.
I mean, that is weird that she said one day the ghost threw open all the cupboards and threw all the stuff around the room, and then she just mimics the behavior of the ghost just to terrify her husband. Why?
Right. Like, isn't she worried about the actual flipping open.
And also, isn't she worried about her husband got in trouble for taunting the ghost? She's straight up just taking his act.
Oh my.
He's going to get her.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
I think we might have a ghost.
Really?
Because every time I go into the kitchen, every cupboard is open. Oh my God. I guess that's just Moshe leaving You've never closed the cabinet since I met you.
That's not true. You've told me that. You've complained about it, and I've started to try to close them when I leave a room, but sometimes I forget.
And drawers are always open, and then you leave everything that you used out. But anyway.
I might be the ghost of Christmas future. If you keep roasting me, the future looks like I'll be living in a efficiency studio in North Hollywood by myself.
Wait, if you walked into a kitchen and all of a sudden, all of the cabinets opened and closed like 3 times.
And the doors.
Would you believe in ghosts?
I don't know. God,
I hope that happens to you.
Why do you want me to believe in ghosts? What good would come of that?
It'd be funny to break you. For you to be like, I believe they're real. Crazy stuff happens because you're like, ghosts are not real.
Is that how I sound? I sound like a typical
I'm just saying, how do you know? How do you know what exists, what people have seen?
I don't know everything.
Some people have say they've seen ghosts.
Okay, ghosts are real.
I'm not saying they're real, but it would be funny to make someone like you, who always rolls your eyes, be like, oh yeah, I had an out-of-body experience, or I had this crazy transformative.
Bring it on. I would love it. Do you know how much I would love it if there were ghosts? That would mean that when you die, there's at least some possibility that something else happens. That would be fucking awesome. So bring it on, spirits. Bring it on. I'm ready. Come on. Haunt me.
All right, let's keep listening.
Hi, Moshe and Natasha. I have a secret that happened today that maybe I shouldn't be telling anyone, but today was super shitty because I tested positive for COVID. It's completely asymptomatic. I don't feel sick at all, like nothing. Had a little bit of a runny nose maybe last week, but nothing. And sure enough, I got it. So it's, a bummer of a day, complicated my life. Even more so than this year already has. I have 2 kids and an ex-wife, and now they have to get tested and quarantine, and super crazy. So I was driving home, bummed out, like worried, feeling bad and shitty and guilty. And before I went home, I went to the weed store. I had a mask. I used sanitizer all over my hands and rubbed it all over my mask. Went into the weed store, didn't touch anything except for my ID, and bought weed because I'm going to be by myself for 10 days. I'm a piece of shit. Thanks.
Oh, at least this guy did something that will be good for the lung disorder that he's just become afflicted with. He's going at home to
Maybe he got edibles?
Let's hope
I would have
got
got delivery of edibles.
Yeah, why do you have to go into the store? Will they not bring it out to you? I guess not with weed, huh?
So is the idea if you know you have COVID, it's like illegal to go out in public?
Yeah, it's like go home and quarantine.
Right.
Immediately. Don't stop for Dank. I think they say. I think the CDC says that. Don't stop for that loud.
That really sucks. Again, would love to know how you got it.
Yeah.
Did you ever leave your house?
I have compassion for this guy because, yes, that is an irresponsible.
But see, then I'm shaming in a way.
What?
Everyone wants to know. Sorry, I just wasn't done with that. Like, I think everybody wants to know, how did you get it? Did you cheat on your wife? Did you do something crazy? Did you just get it at work?
Wait, you get COVID from cheating on your wife? Uh-oh.
But I'm just saying it makes people feel shameful to get it, and then they can't really talk about.
Well, I don't know. Where does the shame come from?
Society.
I mean, I don't think that there's
I don't feel like I could get it because I don't do anything. But also, I'm in a very enviable position where I can work from home. A lot of people can't work from home, and I can afford to have grocery delivery.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go into stores with an N95 mask occasionally, but I try to get food, boxes delivered to my house, like farm box, whatever. And
I wonder how Inari Popcorn's doing with COVID. Old Inari.
But anyway, I'm just saying, I don't know the answer, obviously, but I just wanted to bring up the part that he seems very shamed.
Well,
it shouldn't be that shameful that he got it.
But
he should be able to tell his wife, and she could get him weed.
But what he's really shamed about is you're right.
What's the shit? It's like he feels very shamed.
That's right, Natasha. Because I was going to say I have compassion for the guy because he's scared and he wants a soothing balm for his isolation and his fear. So who deserves weed more? But yeah, you're right. You know what? You tell people I got it and they bring you weed and drop it off at your...
And this is how I got it, I think. Or let's try to like figure that out, you know? Like people are just like, I got it. I don't know. I should have been more careful. It's like, oh, okay, well, aren't we all trying to like not pod with... I don't know. I guess it's too hard for me to know because I have a family and I think that... Well, he has a family too, but I do think...
How do you think I feel? I have two. But I have a secret family.
I do think single people have a different journey.
Sure.
Like, when are they supposed to open up their lives?
Right.
You know, like we can kind of be like, oh, we're a family and we can work from home.
It's harder, you're saying, if you're
single. Of course.
Yeah,
you're
totally.
single. You've already been waiting to meet someone. Maybe I have friends like this. And then this happens and it's been a year and you want, you know, and it's like you feel isolated and crazy and unhappy. And, you know, and everything's so unclear.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand. But I just think like, it shouldn't be shameful.
Can I tell you honestly my reaction to what you're saying right now?
Unless he cheated on his wife.
Can I ex-wife? So
ex-wife. Oh, right.
Maybe he cheated on her a long time ago. That's
right. So he's a single guy. That's how he got it, and that's maybe why he feels shame.
But can I tell you honestly my reaction to what you're saying about COVID and stuff?
What?
And no offense.
Yeah.
But it honestly sounds like just a bunch of liberal genuflecting, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just like it's clear.
Well, I am a liberal.
Should we play another secret or should we do a new call?
Let's move to New Zealand.
That's a good idea. I would. They got surfing. They got comedy. They got nice people.
Wait, really? They have good comedy scene?
Yeah. Flight of the Conchords, Reese Darby.
Well, they're from there, but that doesn't mean there's a good scene.
Yeah, they got festivals. They got comedy. Hell yeah, let's go. We would rule like kings.
Okay.
How's your haka?
What's that?
That's the Maori War Dance. Do you know how to do that? No? Well, maybe we'll
I would learn.
Oh,
wait. Here's another question. Can we just go there? If we can pay for plane tickets?
Nobody wants dirty Americans coming through their borders that have wiped out the virus. No one's interested.
I know. No one wants people from LA coming towards them.
I know.
Everyone's like, oh, you're coming from LA? We're good.
Yeah.
No, we're like LA is the epicenter of the disease for the world?
For the country, I think. Maybe the world.
I think it's the world.
Dang. All right. Well, let's do another. What do you want to do? A secret or a call?
Let's do another call.
Okay, let's do a call.
Now we're going to call Jolene in British Columbia.
I wonder if Jolene has heard that.
We won't even say
before.
It to her.
No, that's for us.
We should mispronounce her name. Be like, hi.
Hi, is Jolene there?
Jolene there?
Oh, she's already on. We were just making a joke we think you may not have heard before. So we were
not
wondering,
even a joke.
We're just wondering if we could run it by you. It's about your name.
Thank you for wearing silk by your fireplace.
I know.
I like wanted to match your aesthetic because I'm a really big fan.
It's funny.
I haven't dressed up in like a year.
You and I are kind of like wearing the same thing.
I purposely dressed up in my best Natasha luxurious, comfortable outfit by my fire.
I thought she was just mispronouncing my name.
Me too. I honestly, when I saw you pop up on screen, I thought you really have like a Natasha vibe going on, like with the fire and the silk. So you're doing really good.
Are you attracted to Moshe's ponytail?
Oh yeah.
No, I hate it.
Oh my God.
These are all my drinks and my party cart, so I'm all ready to go.
Jolene.
A party cart? Wait, you just kind of put it next to you, and then whatever you're doing, you have everything you need?
Yeah.
Oh, you got your pills down there?
Oh wow, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, there's all the
condoms,
things in there. There's
lemonade.
There's like weed and.
Oh wow, let's go to Jolene's house.
Yeah, you should come to my house.
Are you an open-minded girl?
Yep.
Just kidding. All right. You like hot tubs? Jolene,
about my favorite.
About my ponytail, please don't roast me just because you can. All right, we did the joke. Here's the joke. And what's up?
Yeah, what's going on, Jolene?
Well,
I'll answer. I think Narcotics Anonymous is probably the answer for you. All right. Thank you
She's
for
like,
calling.
here's my party cart. I have pills, weed.
There's no
booze.
pills.
Oh,
No
I thought
pills.
I saw a pill.
What's your
It's
what's
all natural.
Oh,
This
okay.
is government weed that looks like a
Ooh,
pill jar.
Nice. Wait, Natasha, what's your advice about drugs? You have the best advice about
It's not
drugs.
my advice. I heard someone say it.
Yeah, but just take credit for
Oh,
it.
avoid white powder.
Avoid white powder in life in general.
White powders.
Yeah, Coke, sugar,
MDMA.
MDMA is the hard
Any
one,
pills.
isn't it? MDMA seems like it would be good.
Huh?
Yeah, you can get sassafras, which is like the natural.
What color
molly.
is it?
Brownish.
Oh, I do brown.
Right, and you can get sarsaparilla, which is the natural root beer.
That's right.
So depending on if you're a cowboy child or not. Jolene, what's up?
Okay. So my boyfriend 2 weeks ago to the day, sat me down and told me that while we were broken up for like a few days at the beginning of October, he slept with somebody else and that she was pregnant and that she was
That sucks.
refusing to give him any say in the matter and that she is keeping it. And we've had a really good relationship since then. And I was devastated. I've spent my holidays in bed and I don't know what to do because I really love him. And yeah.
Well, you know how I feel. Sorry, I didn't mean to react so hard, but I was like, okay, I'm with him. Because I thought he was gonna sit you down to break up with you, and then he's sit you down for bad news, and then he sits you down for like not just bad news, but it's like it's a pretty rough life.
And there's more too. I am
You
really good.
gotta take the silks off for this bit of information.
She's
huh?
hot.
Really-
She's right by the
It's
fireplace.
really hot in front of my fire.
That looks good though.
Okay, you look good.
Thanks. I'm a really good investigator and I found out who it is and know everything about it. And I called her and we had a conversation on the phone and she, even though I want to burn her house down, I was really nice to her and she is older and
she's 31.
No, she's 40 or older and I'm 34.
You look 19.
And thanks. And she basically didn't really show much remorse for the situation. She kind of said to me that she was hoping that they would have a relationship and he's not interested in that at all. And he told me that he really wants to stay together.
She's saying that he told her that?
No, she's saying she wants that.
Oh, I see.
She is not sorry about the situation and
and she's in you guys' friend group?
I know who it is and know who she is, but I'm not friends with her. And I have friends that are friends with her and they didn't have the most particularly nice things to say about her.
Well, wait, and I just want you to know, because you're in a vulnerable emotional state, I didn't make fun of the way you pronounce sorry, but
she's from Canada,
but very from Canada, really from Canada. But what is it that you think she did wrong?
She's not gonna have. Well, she wants to keep the baby to try to keep this guy in her life for one, possibly.
Well, we don't know that's why she's keeping the baby.
Is it?
I asked flat out if it was somebody else, if she would be keeping it, and she couldn't answer me right away and went on to say yes, but I can tell when people don't mean that, and I don't believe that for a second. Part of me even thinks it almost was intentional. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely see both of their blame in it. I'm really hurt that he could sleep with somebody in such a brief period while we were broken up. And so I don't know if I can trust him anymore. And then on her side of things, I think it's really wrong to force somebody to having a child with you that isn't into it. And I've actually been in that situation before and I didn't do that to the person because I can't do that to somebody that.
Well, okay.
And to the kid,
wait, hold
too,
on,
and
hold
to
on.
the
kid.
Can I throw your question back at you that you posed to her? I'm not trying to be too harsh with you.
It's okay.
But I want to throw this question back to you. You said, if it wasn't him, would you keep the baby? If it wasn't him, I ask you, would you think that she was wrong to keep the baby? Or does some of this have to do with your personal stake in this particular tete-a-tete?
Because I've been in this situation and it was with somebody that I was actually in a relationship with and not like a one-off. And because they weren't on board with me, I did not do that. I feel very strongly that that is just not a good situation to bring a kid into.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, he's not ready for it at all.
Right.
He works nonstop and he can't afford it. And like, he doesn't want it. And she gave him no say in the matter. And I feel like it's very like forced on us. And when I spoke with her, I felt like she had not really any sympathy for me.
I have a few questions. I have some follow-ups. Why did you guys break up the first time?
That's a good question. It's not a very good reason. And it's another reason I'm sort of like trying to figure out if I should try to work things out with him or not. He's late all the time. And we had a big fight because he like
I would fuck someone else too if my girlfriend broke up with me because I was late.
No, he broke up with me.
Oh, he broke up with you because you're late?
No. I was angry that he's late all the time, and I have a bit of a temper and like maybe took it a little bit too far, but I felt like the breakup was an overreaction, and like that's why we decided to talk it out after such a short period and got back together. And since then, like we hashed a bunch of stuff out during that period, and since then our relationship has been really good.
And how long has the total been that you guys have been together?
It's not that long, but we got close really quickly.
So like a year?
No, like 6 months.
Okay, you need to find a new boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying to me.
Well, this is go ahead. Sorry, Natasha.
Well, I mean, you say what you want to say.
Well, I just think, I mean, that Natasha is giving you the blunt version, and my soft version is like my instinct when you first started telling me what happened. I thought it was just going to be he fucked someone else while we were broken up, and I was going to say, well, you know, many people deal with rejection, and I would say I know it's not very popular these days to say men do things like this and women do things like this, but I do think that many men deal with a breakup by finding comfort in someone else's arms. Obviously, I think that women do that too, but I think if I was going to say a sort of more typical reaction to a breakup for a man is like, I'm going to find someone tonight to make my heartache go away. Okay, so that happened. So my first instinct was to be like, well, you know, this kind of thing happens. You could probably work on it. He technically didn't cheat on you, even though it hurts, and that hurt is legitimate. But the problem is that sex, just like a lot of things and breakups, have consequences, right? Sometimes you get an STD.
Fucking A.
Sometimes you get somebody pregnant that refuses to. Hell yeah, light that shit up. Sometimes you get an STD. Sometimes you get somebody pregnant that doesn't want to get rid of the child, and those consequences have now come back into your life. And so what you have to do, because in reality, my other thought was, this is in the very ooky gray realm of not your business, but unbelievably your business, right? This really isn't your business. It has really nothing to do with you, but the consequences are right in your lap. And
for sure,
you don't have the right to call that woman again, or even really is it your business if she's selfish or not? None of that.
Well, you're going to be calling her a lot once you're the stepmom.
You know what? Can I just say why I did that? Because I don't want to seem like a monster.
I would have done it and begged her to reconsider or something.
I know. And I think personally I was pretty cool. And like the reason I did it is because I wanted to know the truth. Like I wanted to know if it really was when we were broken up, because I felt like that would give me at least some power to know the truth and know like he was telling me the truth. And it sounded like he was, from what she says. And like, that's also why I do like big investigations on people, because like I felt totally powerless in this because I had like nothing to do with it. And like finding out the details of what went on and everything, like it, gives you some semblance of power or control in a situation where I have like literally nothing. Like
I know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. If it was any other circumstance, I would say you need to take 6 months off from him, or just take a little break, because you don't even know this guy very well, and he's embroiled in a lot of drama. And why make that your drama? But it's COVID, and so the reality of like you being like, I need some space. It's like, well, yeah, we all need space. We all need we're kind of stuck right now. So it's like, I think it would be really hard, but like, you have to look at this as like, I don't know. You need to either grow unbelievably close in like the next 3 months and like really have like a spiritual connection. You're like, this guy is the guy for me. I'm going to marry him. Or you need to like completely move on. But it's like, obviously I realize how hard that is to do right now.
It has been a short amount of time, but we really are like really close. Like his family knows, and I love his family. And
but whatever about his family, there's plenty of cool families. It's like, you're not going to love the family that is his new son or daughter and this enemy of yours that like now you're married and he's got like a 3-month-old at the wedding, and you know what I mean? Like, and a bitter woman who wishes you ill, who not only that knows people like this woman is like in your life. It's just a reality. And it's like, is this the world you see for yourself? Like, maybe he'll be worth it, but it doesn't seem like you know that right now. And I think he's on like high alert of like, like you can stay with him for 3 more months and just check out how he handles things. Maybe he's amazing. Maybe the girl will change her mind.
Maybe that's kind of what, like, that's why I called, right? Because like I'm lost as to if I should try to make it work or if I should just break it off. But like, I really love him and I really don't want to break it off, but like, I don't know if I can deal with this.
Right. So that was going to be my point, my grand point of, no one, in my opinion, actually technically did anything immoral or wrong.
No, he just has bad luck.
Bad luck. And also, just because it's not wrong doesn't mean that it doesn't have the right to hurt your feelings that he went and fucked somebody that quickly.
Well, also, he might have done it without a condom.
Well, he clearly did.
That's just not just bad luck. It's also dumb.
Right.
You don't know this guy. He might be. He might be stupid.
Right. Right. So, okay. So now that you can accept now that we can sort of accept the fact that like this isn't necessarily your business, but it is your concern, and it's not really about figuring out who did something wrong. It's really about taking all this information of these consequences, putting them into the equation of this relationship, seeing how much joy and how much love you have from him, and weighing that against these massive consequences. While I totally agree with you that men should have much more business on what women do with their reproductive systems, like I'm joking, you don't have any say or power over whether this child will be born. You only have say over power over whether or not you want to engage in this relationship, which will now become a new kind of relationship. It will become a relationship that is filled with unbelievable emotional consequences, up to and including having to co-parent a child that a person got themselves saddled with when you guys were broken up for 2 days.
It's also important to note that you guys broke up after like 2 months. Like obviously there's like some disconnect happening. Like that's not just like a great love story.
I work with his brother-in-law and he's known him for a really long time. And he said that he thinks like, it seems like he has a tendency every like certain period of time to self-sabotage. And I think like that maybe is kind of what happened with our relationship in October. Like, I think like whatever
he's not ready for a relationship.
Yeah, he might do it again. Is the pattern that he does it once and then he writes himself and becomes Mr. Perfect? I mean, anyway, I'm not telling you to break up with this guy.
You deserve someone where it's like not that.
Right.
Not dealing with someone else's psychosis or whatever it is, like sabotage or, well, he's just insecure. It's
a lot of drama
thinking about somebody else.
It's a lot of drama for a short relationship. Breakup, pregnancy, getting back together, stepmom. These are all the things you have to put in the equation of your relationship and see how cool is this guy?
Well, that's why I think she needs some sort of like time frame.
Right.
Because it's like, maybe you do give him like 6 weeks and mark
For
your
what, though?
I don't know, just to see how he handles it. See if this woman changes her mind. See if things turn around. It's COVID. There's nowhere else to go.
He asked if I wanted to go to counseling because I was like, I didn't eat for 4 days. Like I was like a fucking wreck.
Well, here's one detail I wanted to point out that I think I heard. You called this woman to get a timeline from her so that it sounded to me like you were fishing for a launch pad to end this relationship. You were calling her to say, was he actually cheating on me? Because if he was cheating on me, then my decision would get made for me. This would be really nice for me if I could find a nice, clean, emotional break from this thing. So I don't necessarily think you should or shouldn't break up with the guy. I've got my opinion on that, but like it's not really my business. But I just wanted to point out, like, you called someone trying to get a timeline that would ascertain whether or not he was actually betraying you deeply, and he did betray you emotionally, but also like in the relationship rule thing. So maybe look at that. You already were looking for a way out, and maybe that's your better brain telling you it's time to get the fuck out of here.
And you don't live with him. You have a roommate. You got a dope pad. Maybe you should just like break it off with him and say, you know what? I just need like 2 weeks to myself. And sometimes that can really give you a lot of clarity. I've done that before because I was like dating some guy who was like way older than me, and my girlfriend made me do that. She was like, just tell him you need 4 weeks off. And she like made me call him, and I told him, and I didn't really believe it, but I knew it was wrong, or I just knew our relationship didn't feel right. And then after 4 weeks, I was just like, oh God, I don't even like that guy anymore.
But like the worst I've been is when I've been on my own for like long periods. Like I've had a couple of days in the last 2 weeks where I would was like melting down every time I was all on my own.
I'm not a professional therapist, so it's like...
Yeah, but also like the idea that this man is going to fix you. I mean, this man that broke up with you 2 months ago got somebody pregnant and is now about to be a father. It's like, if the issue is you can't be okay without him, you don't need him. You need a therapist. You know, it's like there's no solution to your emotional problems in one individual or one man, especially not one. You have to play the tape out.
But talking to a therapist on your own, I think that would be amazing. That's
a good idea.
And I don't think you need to go with him right now. I think maybe go by yourself and maybe even tell him, listen, I'm going to take a few weeks off, and you got to look for a good therapist. What I do is ask people I know if they have a referral. That's always really good. That's
really smart. You going by yourself without him is a really...
I can't afford a fucking therapist.
You can. What about Talkspace?
Talkspace. It's a program that we recommend, and it's affordable. You can text.
No, but
your
I think you can talk to them for like $30. You know, it's definitely less than what's in your party cart.
You know what I exactly?
She's got at least $200 worth of
if you can afford
alcohol and drugs in her party cart.
If you can afford wine and weed, you can afford to go to a therapist for a couple of sessions to get some clarity. I think that's almost definitely true.
Pay for the other ones.
I'm just saying it's possible. You don't need to go to therapy for 10 years. You need to go to therapy for maybe 5 times and get a little bit of clarity for yourself.
And spending time with yourself is actually sometimes, if you can handle it, I know it's hard with the pandemic. Obviously, that's all we're doing, but you really do get clarity when you're away from a relationship. Like in the relationship, it's so hard to get clarity because then you're like, eating Thai food and watching Hell's Kitchen.
You know what they used to say in AA when you were thinking about relapsing? They would tell you to, and I think it's funny that you're drinking wine as I'm telling you this story.
What's AA?
It's something that you'll be going to in a few
Wait, you're drinking
years.
2 different drinks?
I have 3, baby.
At once?
I can't afford therapy, but I've got a Mai Tai and red wine.
Wait, I'm sorry, Moshe.
I got these for Christmas.
I know, but that doesn't give you a headache to drink 3 different alcohols on a rotation?
Oh, you get used to it over the holidays, don't you? You're like your liver cranks up production.
Let me say this: you definitely seem like stepmom material, just based on this call. But what I was gonna say is, they used to say in AA when you're thinking about drinking to play the tape out. They would say play the tape, right? Just imagine the next step and the next step and the next step. Okay, you right now are feeling tense, so you go get a drink, you have momentary relief, but then, now you've got anguish and remorse and you have to drink.
We're not talking about your drinking, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Anguish and remorse, and you start drinking more, and then the cycle returns, and then you're back to where you started, and then you go even lower, and then you lose your job, blah, 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 blah. For you, the same advice is true. Play the tape out, okay? You stay with this guy. You're in a relationship for 6 months, but when you're in a relationship for almost a year and a half, he's got a newborn. He's got a newborn child. And
then there's fights. Like, does he have to go to the hospital? Exactly. Does he have to come? Does he have to leave you guys to
there's counseling, and there's custody battles, and this person that he doesn't like and doesn't like you and you don't like,
who knows your friends.
They're gonna be custody battles. They're gonna be fight, and then that'll eventually settle, and then his wages will be garnished for the next 18 years, and then you're gonna either be an enemy to this woman, which is going to be hell, or you're going to be...
Oh, that was made clear already.
Right, so you're going to be an enemy to this woman who's permanently in his life, and then you're either going to have a weird relationship with this child where you're not allowed to be affectionate towards it because the mom will be weird about that, or you'll have a relationship where you're like a second parent to this child. This is the tape that you have to play out for yourself, and just ask yourself if it's worth it, if this guy's worth it.
I really think taking a little sabbatical from him right now while like all this is happening would be really beneficial.
And going to therapy. Natasha was right. Take 3 sessions, 2 sessions. Just talk to a professional.
But do they have it in Canada?
I mean, I think it's on the internet. So, yes.
Yeah, but there's weird Canada-US
Whatever.
things.
They've got therapy in Canada that you can afford. I guarantee it. Don't you guys have universal health care in Canada?
Yeah, but then I'd have to go to a doctor and I'd have to tell a doctor. I'm like, I feel sad. I don't want to tell anybody. Actually, you know what? I haven't told you this either. This is like one of my best friend's favorite shows, and nobody in my life pretty much knows about this.
Oh, because you're in Canada.
This is how
you're the first Canadian listener that we've got.
I'm scared to tell anybody because they're just going to say you're a fucking moron for not dropping his ass immediately.
You're not a moron.
Like him, and you guys are building a relationship. But Moshe, that's such great advice. I mean, once you start playing that tape, I mean, the only good version I see is that she changes her mind. And that could still happen, but it seems pretty unlikely.
Listen, you're not even close to a moron. You're in a classic situation, which is I like someone, but there's something that makes it so that this relationship might not be workable. It just happens that your might not be workable situation is at a 10, and some people's is at a 5. So you're not stupid. You're very human, but you just like, I think like you need to talk to someone, not because you're like have mental problems, because you lack clarity. You don't even know what you want us to say. Every time we say something, you go like, well, actually he's this. Oh, well, actually I only feel okay with this. Oh, actually this. So it's like you need
I'm a Libra.
Well, and astrology is real. Also, maybe you should see a astrologer, but or a ghost. Maybe you should see a ghost. But I think you should see a therapist just to get clarity what your truth is. What's your real truth? What does Jolene want, I mean, please don't take him just because you can.
I know.
I mean, your beauty is without compare.
Moshe.
What? With
flaming locks of auburn hair?
Yeah, something like that. It's not really auburn. Yeah, all right. Well, you get it. Go see somebody 3 times. Will you do that?
I'll try it.
All right, she's not going to do it. I'm telling you, just take 2 weeks off of him and think about it. Just separate yourself from the situation.
I do want to think more about it for sure.
And talk to your friends. That can really help. Sometimes when like your friends aren't going to think you're an idiot, and you should be calling your friends and telling them.
I have a couple that know, like my roommate that's here, and I have a couple more that like came when I was like having an absolute fucking conniption fit. But like most of my family or any of them don't know. So
I used to have a German friend. I'm not friends with her anymore. She was kind of right wing, but I worked for her, so I would hang out with her sometimes. But she would always say, "Oh, people in America, you're so stupid. Why do you see a therapist? In Germany, we talk to our friends. That's what they're there for."
But the problem with your friends is that they are not neutral.
They're too on your side.
Yeah, they're not neutral.
Right, I hear you. But she's not going to talk She's not going to talk to a therapist. So I'm just trying to think what else she can do to give her the energy and the courage to separate herself from the situation for now, because it's like, it's too much.
Listen, it's obvious that you shouldn't sign up to be this fucking child's stepmother. I mean, sometimes drama is too great, but you know what? Maybe you love him enough to get past the drama. I'm just saying, you don't even know what the truth is. You don't know. You, Jolene, do not know. You don't know what you want. So, and your friends aren't helping, and we're not helping. We're just comedians making fun of your name and the way you pronounce sorry. So it's obvious that you should get somebody who can really lay out in a clinical way, here's what's happening for you, and you'll come out with clarity. I mean, you can't afford therapy? You're talking about being someone's stepmother for the next 18 years. I think you can afford $300. Stop smoking weed for 3 weeks and go see 3 sessions with a therapist. Get some fucking clarity.
And also, when Moshe says clarity, it's like clarity on what do you want out of a relationship? Because like you guys were already breaking up because you don't see eye to eye. You don't share a worldview on like people's time and what's important to them. And, you know, that's a pretty huge thing. Like when I was looking for a partner, like that was very important to me that we like saw the world in very similar ways.
And
like,
then she settled on me and I got lucky. So,
but I think it's important until you really come to terms and date a bunch of losers, you don't really know. Not that I dated losers, but I'm just saying, like, you don't really know it. Things don't become that crystallized, like what you want and need out of a partner. And sounds like he already had one thing that like got you so upset that you guys broke up. So
anyway, that's our advice.
Yeah, I'm just repeating myself. I have to go. We've got to go.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, Jolene.
I had a list of notes here, and in my notes was my ideal guests, and you didn't have a guest. And I think that this would be a really good follow-up.
You want us to call you back with a guest?
Yes, I do.
Wait, all right. Can we hear your list?
I think you should stay with the guy.
I want to hear her list.
It's like it started with only 3, and then we got talking, and I had to add some more, so now it's 6.
Okay, let's hear it.
But it's okay. So, my favorite show besides you guys is Jim and Sam. So number 1 is Jim Norton.
Jim would be very funny on this show. I could work on Jim. Okay, Jim Norton would be fun.
And the second one's not going to happen because he's gone, Louis C.K. And then I had Sarah Silverman.
This is a list you just made of like
I made it earlier today.
Who you wish was on the call with us.
First of all, and also, Louis not dead, is he?
Is he allowed to come on your friggin' show?
I would have him on.
Who's your next person?
Sarah Silverman, Norm Macdonald.
Oh, I would love to get Norm Macdonald on here.
Tom Hardy.
Louis C.K. would never do our show.
Yeah, Louis would refuse to do it. Mark Norman
would.
Who? Tom Hardy, the movie star?
Yeah, that's just,
okay.
Just threw that one in there.
I feel like we could
Sarah Silverman was on last week.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like we could get one of those people. Okay, here's my commitment.
Jim Norton.
Here's my commitment to you. Okay? If you go to a therapist 3 times, we will book Jim Norton or Mark Norman. Jim Norton or Mark
One
Norman.
person on your list.
Yeah,
or Louis C.K.
Or Louis C.K. or Tom Hardy or Brad
Pitt. But Louis
Pitt.
C.K. just to answer this question.
Yeah. So if you do it and then you contact our producer and say, I've been to therapy 3 times, I want to talk about the aftermath, then it will be our job to book one of those people on your list and then call you with them.
I promise I will do that. And a really good time to follow up would be July, which is when this lady is due.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, you got it, Jolene.
We'll set our calendars.
Okay.
Hey, here's to 2021, Jolene.
Thank you very much. This was the pleasure of my whole year.
Oh, well, we had a good time with you. Thanks, Jolene. Good luck.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
I don't think we should have Louis C.K. on the podcast.
She's still on. Louis, the real outliers there were Louis and Tom Hardy.
No, the really funny thing is she said it started with 3 and Louis was number 2.
Yeah.
And she just wrote it.
This is very
so
funny.
she's like, oh, but we can't have him. It's like, who? Why didn't you pick someone? Anyway.
Natasha, I really enjoyed this episode of this podcast with you. It was a lot of fun. We went to a lot of different places.
I feel like I traveled.
I feel like that too. And speaking of travel, I want to travel to bed. So I will say this. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.